tell us what did you do in the last session? So we'll just take it from there.
Controllers, filters,
Okay.
routing.
Okay, can you just briefly explain like how does it and what is it?
We did this one rule scope like scoping.
Okay.
Because we did this one expressions.
Okay.
And routing we did this one UI router.
UI writer, you guys know, right? So, so how does the Angular application like bootstrap it? How does it all work? Can you guys explain a little bit so that I'll know like from where to start? Yeah.
Can use like NG classes.
So what did you learn in the last class first?
We define NG app, and from where it is, start.
So basically, you have an index.html in the start, right? What do you have that in that file?
NG app.
NG app. And what libraries, like how do we load it?
We have to look at that Angular.js from where that we can use from our component or stating update, whatever it is. Then these guys in index.html, these things, NG app. Then we can, if we are getting any controller or directory, then we are putting that file in the bottom.
So basically in the script you're loading all the JS files, right?
Yes.
Okay, so from there your Angular application is starting. And then you have the UI view directive that you might have heard, right? So in that when the routing works, then the partial is loading, right? So Angular application, like why do we need Angular application, why it is so popular? And so let's go through this only. It's a single page application that we develop, right? What is good about single page application?
You don't have to load page each time on this HTML.
Yeah, the index.html is the one that loads at the first, and then it only replaces the partial or a specific part of the page. That's what we do, right? So that is a single page application. Now in Angular, some more things are important. You should know. Now dependency injection. Can anybody tell like what it can mean? Dependency means what?
To run in a module, might be we are injecting some other module or some other service or to work within that.
Correct.
Like you need to work and you want help from me, so you need to depend on me. So you have to inject me in your module.
Right. Like you learn controller, right? So in controller, if we need any dependency, controller is dependent on something. We don't create a new object and we use it, right? We inject it directly. That is the important thing. And then the UI that we write, the HTML we write, we use declaratively. What does that mean? Basically, using objects, you can write your HTML, and the HTML will render itself, right? Okay. And controller and scope, you already know, right? So, what is the job of a controller? What is it doing?
It is binding the scope.
Binding the scope. Okay. So what is the data design pattern that Angular is implementing? MVC, right? MVC stands for model, view, and controller, right? So basically, model is what? Model is your data that resides in your scope, and view is what your HTML, right? Controller is connecting your view to model. That's what this is what you learned earlier. It looks good because you guys know. Now in this session, we'll try to understand what is a service, because we can't put everything in one file, right? Otherwise, controller will become very big and it will not be manageable. What do you think is the Angular service?
It's kind of repeatable code we can put in one service so that we can access it.
So there are like 5 points here. Tell me which one is correct, which one is service, and which one is not. The first one, something that can be accessed over a wire, like there is some service somewhere on some server. Is that Angular service?
No.
Good job. Objects called directly from JavaScript.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yes. No. Maybe.
Good job. Yes. Maybe is good enough as yes. So it's also simple object that says some sort of. So Angular service is not like any WSF service or anything. It's just a JavaScript object that we get from another component. Now we'll learn how do we use it. Okay, few more things. Separation of concern. Like in a particular module, like a controller, we only want to deal with what it is meant to be. We don't want to let's say you want to get some data from server. We don't want to put that in controller. So like few things, like single responsible principal is there. That means something like controller, its only job is to connect your model to view. We don't care we don't want to put logic like how it is getting the data and all those things. Now, if controller's job is not to get the data, then how do we get it? So there Angular will provide something, right, so that you can utilize it. And that thing is service.
This is just an overview. Later we will see the code wise. Okay, just to get the overview of it.
Yeah, we'll do the theory first and then we'll do it. So what do you see in the screen? Can anybody explain what is happening?
Here we are creating a factory.
Okay.
And that factory name is user repository.
Correct.
And we are returning the function here. The function is empty here already.
Returning an object.
Returning an object.
Yeah. Returning an object, right? So
function, right?
Returning an object. Right? Now, when we write module.factory, then what is happening? Basically, like if I need a function, right, it is returning an object, right? If I write that object in a JavaScript file, I can use it, right? Why do I need to write module.factory and this, that?
So we should see if we in NGF we need to give a app name, that is module name. So all the factory or services should connect it to that module only. So for that we are defining this factory inside that module so that it stays under scope.
Very correct. So basically what we're doing is registering that service into Angular, and Angular knows so basically if the service is registered, then you can inject it into some other component, right? If you don't register it, you can't inject it, right? So this is basically for Angular to know that there is a service.
In that case, if you don't give that my module, at that time the child factory, you will not know that who is father or mother.
Yeah, correct. Very good.
You already got it right.
So this is the syntax how we can return. Basically, return an object. Object can have properties, and in JavaScript everything is an object. Function is that everything is object. Yeah. So basically, what we're doing here, we're returning a function which returns something. Now we created a service. How do we use it? Somebody other than him can explain. So here we have a controller, and we're trying to use the service we created earlier, right? So basically it is registered, so we injected it, and then we can just call the method get all user. What was there in that, right? Let me know if you have any question.
Difference between service and factory.
Service and factory. Service and factory both solve your same purpose. But factory you return an object. In service you return that normally we write this dot. Like in factory we return get object, we return an object, right? In service what we'll do, we'll return this dot get all user function that will be accessible, and the usage will be same. So the difference is in the implementation inside Angular, how Angular internally treats it. For us, it will not make much of a difference.
So which one should you use? Because we have two options in the service or factory.
Normally you can use any one, it will not make any difference. Basically what you get, when you inject a service or a factory, you get a JavaScript code that you can call, right?
So now why they have created two methods? Two things. They should have created only one only. There is something.
No, there is a way like how objects are created. and that is internal to how Angular does it. We can clarify that later. Fine.
You are creating a simple object, right? Area equal to new.
You were referring to a new address reference.
Okay.
So we have the object.
Simply braces means
in JavaScript. So the object.
Okay, if it is a new object.
Same.
So why there is two way?
Okay, so there is some difference, but we'll not get into the detail of that because our objective is to be able to understand Angular so that we can use it, right? These small nuances we'll get into it later. No problem, right?
Just to tell that basically it's a constructor. When you create right, in the same way the service is nothing but a constructor. Factory you can return the object whatever you want.
It's kind of variable.
No, we'll go into deep that later. Just know this difference.
It will be a little bit complicated, so better we'll do it later. We'll stick to our focus. Okay. So basically this slide, like we created a custom service, right? So we also have a lot of inbuilt services. So this is just one example. Using $STP, same way we inject it, and then we can call the get method. This looks fine, right? So service, any questions? So what are the things we'll do in service and what, if you have to make a REST call, you will do that in controller service where? Service, right? Okay. Good. So we'll move on to the next part. So here we will just touch base a few things. ng repeat, ng show, ng hide, switch. So basically, what are these? I mean,
these are directives.
These are directives, right? You guys know that. These are built-in directives, right? So built-in directives means Angular already knows like what it has to. So we'll go over. So ng repeat, you guys know like what it is doing? You guys already know. Then why? Yeah, basically in HTML, if you have to like do something repeatedly over an array, so we can do it in object also, or you can do it in array also, same thing. Okay. And then it's very simple actually. The only thing is if you have duplicate, then Angular will throw an error because you can't find it unique. So that problem you can solve it if you just include index. It will create its own index and it will assign that thing. Similarly, you can track by some, so you can. But normally, track by index is good enough.
What is the use of track by?
So basically, if you have, if you see there is 42, right? You run this in a single angle.
Internally, I mean, Angular creates their own index, right?
So yeah, that's what normally it does not. If it will use just the value. So it will get like 42, 42 again, so it will throw an error. So if you want Angular to create this index, so you use track by index. In ng repeat, you can do a lot of things like you can order by, you can filter, you can do all that. The only thing is track by is always will come at the end. Fine, you have a array, you filter it, you order by it, at the end track by. Fine, right? Okay, $index. So inside like, so we have ng repeat. Now inside that you have certain properties that are exposed by Angular. One is $index. So $index, what will it be? Index of the whatever object. Yeah. $first. For first it will be true, others it will be false. Middle similarly, first will be false, middle will be true, last will be false. Dollar last, same thing. Dollar even, if it is an even item, it will be true, else it will be false. Simple.
So not need to write function for checking it's even or not.
Yeah. You don't need to do it. So Angular makes your job easy, right? It's supposed to do that. So basically, like you see that, like in a table, odd even colors are there, right? So you can easily add class based on these properties, and you can design it, right? So the only thing is, you don't need to learn it, just need to be aware that these things are available, because these are available on everywhere, right? Okay, ng switch. It's a switch, right? So what does a switch do?
Which case?
Yeah, just switch case only. Switch case only. What does switch case do? You select one value, and based on that value, something is turned on, right? Switch will be turned on and turned off, right? So basically, that's what you see. Ng switch on selection. So selection is the model that will be attached to the scope, right? And whatever is the value of, and then ng switch when settings. So when selection value is settings, then this div will be. Here my cursor.
The mouse is different position.
Okay. So basically, when the value of selection matches, then that particular element will render, right? Any question? All good. ngIf, ngShow. So basically, it's for conditionally we want to show something. We'll use ngShow, ngIf. So ngShow also does the same thing. Basically, what it does is
it print like something?
Huh?
Simple print.
No, let's say like you have some variable, its value is true. So you can hide and show some HTML part based on that. Okay. So basically what it does is based on that, it will add a class ngHide. And then Angular will have its own CSS. So based on that, the element will be hidden. Okay. Now ngShow does it, and in ngIf also for a user it does the same thing. But there is one slight difference. Do you guys know what is the difference?
It is not render.
Yeah, in ngShow it will just be hidden, but it is still there. Like if you do a jQuery with some CSS selector, you will get it. But if you use ngIf, it is not there in the DOM. If you do CSS selector, it will not find it.
See the div is there, no? ngShow equal to my value.
Yes.
If the my value is true, it will be shown the div and it contents. If the my value is false, it will not be shown in the page, but it will be there in the DOM. Okay.
You guys know what is DOM, right? DOM is the HTML thing.
HTML elements. Okay. If it use ngIf, it will not be there in the DOM if it is false. When coming to code, you will understand clearly.
Yeah, in code we can show that. Now animation, what do you understand with animation?
Interesting thing on my page.
See, basically in animation we have state 1 to state 2. Animation is like how do you change from state 1 to state 2. Let's say width of a box is like 100 pixel. On hover it becomes 300 pixel, right? On hover width is becoming 300 pixel. Now animation is how does it transition from 100 to 300. If you don't use animation within it will just go like this. If you do animation, it will take some time. Like if you see, we have transition. Yeah, so basically we can see like here we have, it's not very clear, right?
Can you try to zoom?
We can do this only. This is more clear.
But they will not see the screen.
No, they will see this screen, right? Okay. So you see transition width 2 seconds. So width, initial width is 100, final width is 300. So 100 to 200 will take 2 seconds.
Okay.
That is what is animation. And then there are like certain more properties of transition itself. You can Google it and go to W3 skills, you can figure out. Again, it can be linear or it will be slow at the start and fast and slow. Those things are there. So anything on this? I'll do that. Now, how do we do animation in Angular? Like, how does Angular support animation? Basically, what do we need for animation?
CSS.
CSS, right? So we need proper classes, and then we can write CSS for those classes, right? So basically, that's what we have a $animate service. Basically, when you use it, things like ng repeat where items are removed, added, or ng switch, it is hidden, visible. So what it does is, it basically adds proper classes to your HTML. And then using CSS or JavaScript, you can do the animation. So it doesn't do the animation by itself.
In build, that class is in build ng view ng switch. So we can make it custom also.
Yeah. The only thing is either Angular adds the class or you add it yourself, doesn't matter. Only thing is you should have a class. But Angular gives you like all the possible classes. Like in ng repeat, if something is added, then you'll get an enter class. If something is removed, you'll get a leave class. So those classes you can use it to and do the animation, right? So we'll see the practical and then can send. So any questions, anything? All right, we'll wrap it up pretty quickly, I think.
What about other end they are seeing, right?
Which one?
Sashi, or what is it?
Sashir.
You're in sync, right?
Yeah.
So any questions from you guys?
Amit. Hello. So, will you be explaining more about the dollar animate? How we are going to use it and all that stuff. Will we be taking practical things and other hand?
Actually, your voice is low. Can you speak a little louder?
So basically, what we are saying is, if it would be helpful, it would be helpful if it would have we would have done like a little bit of practical over the dollar animate and things. So
Absolutely.
so will we gonna show some coding stuff or some examples?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So now we are done with the theory part. So we'll just go, whatever we did in the theory, we'll do the exact same thing in the practical also. Now, so routing you guys already know, right? I don't need to tell you. Okay. So first we'll see like service. Okay. So we'll just open it. So you guys know how to debug and see the console and everything. So I'll just click on this. So basically I made a call and then I got the data and then I just simply, I can display it, right? So you can do similar stuff. So basically what we're doing is we are getting the data from a JSON file but you can get the data from any node service or anything. Anything is possible. So we'll just go through the code and a little bit understand what it is. This one.
Name is a space.
Okay, so something else. So basically, we'll just go through it once more. So basically, the Angular scripts we loaded at the first, and then the CSS what is dependent Angular provides, and then here. So this is what is doing the UI routing. So this is the state, and this is the link that you are seeing it there, and this is the UI view. So this is where the dynamic content is rendering, right? And then these are the JavaScript files that we are writing. So normally, because it's just training, so normally what you can do is you can concatenate it and load it at once. Those things you can do, but that is not very important at this point. So here, what we load is app.js. This is where the starting point of your application, right? So this is what is the routing. So basically I created one more route, users, and the template is template user.tpl, right? So these two like you would have.
See, if you don't give controller name inside the state, like state employee, state user, so at that time you need to give it inside the template.
It will load the
controller.
There are many ways to do the same thing. Either you give it here also, it will be the same. No difference at all. Yeah, you could have done that. No issues. Basically, I did it here. So you can do it there or there, it doesn't matter. So for service we'll do, right? So basically I have a ng repeat, user and users. Users will be in the scope, right? So basically we'll go into this controller, user controller. So normally to begin with, you can just assign user directly from here, but we want to write service, right? So this fetch is what? This is a button click we are calling this function, correct? Because initially the table didn't load, right? When we clicked on this, then this is it. So basically we call user repository. This is what is injected here. That's a method get user.
Get user repository is service.
Yeah, so let's start from there. We will go to the service first. So we created a service. So factory also we call it a service only. Okay, service and factory both are AngularJS services only. And then we made a HTTP call. $HTTP is the built-in service that we are using to get the call. And the URL is, for this purpose, we are calling directly, but you can call any other service also. You can call it, and you can do whatever. But basically, we have this URL, which is there. So basically, this is what is the data. We got it here in the service, and we are returning it. This is fine, right?
We are getting the data from JSON.
Yeah.
Can you remove the data
From database.
Database. For example,
Not directly. From server.
Node.js.
So basically, it doesn't make any difference. You're calling a file because if you see you made a HTTP call. It's not like I'm directly getting that file. I made a HTTP call, but it is get. So you guys aware of the HTTP calls, right? And then it's a proper HTTP call. Okay. Similarly, you can call any service also. Any service hosted on Node or Java, whatever. Same thing you have to do. Okay. So you can see here, right? You can network is where you can see all the network calls. So it's not like speaking into from the application, it's making a call. But we can host the service anywhere and get it. No problem. Okay. Oh, and then we return this function, get user. Now here we use success. What did you use success?
Service call is success.
No. What service call success?
It user.
So in that
Like if I
HTTP code. So here if it gets access, then it will return true.
so if I comment this out and if I just return this then we'll not write success, right? Why did you write success in this case?
It will write.
Huh?
Success will write.
In this case also?
Yes.
Sure. Why?
Because there is no HTTP.
No, it's not about HTTP. It's like, you guys aware of promise concept? So basically, this is synchronous, right? It will call this method and return it. But HTTP doesn't work like that, right? It will make a call and then it will wait for the response, get the response, and then send it, right? Now JavaScript doesn't wait like that. JavaScript is a single thread application, right? It continuously executes. Now we'll try to understand what is happening. Now what is this returning? We called a $HTTP get method, right? It's not returning data, right? It will take some time to get the data. So it's returning a promise. Promise is saying like I will return you in future. So basically, so here when I call this, that I will get the response in future. Okay. So basically, dot success is when I get a successful response. Okay, that's why we're using. If you are not making HTTP call, we will not use dot success. And then here, dollar timeout is again a Angular JS service only that we are using. Normally, using regular JavaScript also you can do set interval and those things use. But when you're using Angular, it is preferred to use what Angular provides, because Angular will be aware of what it is doing. If you do it set interval, plain JavaScript, then Angular will not know what is happening. But here Angular will know like what is happening. And then we are doing the same thing. Whatever data we are getting, this is the user. On success, we are getting this data. What is there in the JSON file we are getting, and that we are assigning to the user, and we are getting it. So this is, I made a service, I injected in my controller, and I'm using it. Fine, right? Okay. Now we'll go to the ng if. Okay. So if I click on this, we have it changes, right? So we'll just see what is there in the HTML and then we'll come back. So this is the ng, right? So we have two p block One is if, second is not of if. So at one point only one will be true. So one is showing, right? Now because it is ngif, the one that is not showing should not be there in the DOM at all. Correct? Now important thing is, I didn't declare anything in the controller, right? But if you declare something here, it will attach that property to the scope directly. So in Angular, like if some property you have to use it in your DOM, you don't need to like declare it. You can just attach it here, and it should be available in the scope. Okay. Now if I you see there is only one p tag, right? The other one has not rendered at all between this and this. This ngif. So, right? That is only an ngif. You guys already know it. Now ng show. Ng show is also ng show also is doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, using NG.
Okay. Okay. See, that's what you should be good at, right? So it's doing the same thing. But if I see like we have both of it. Only thing if you see like the first one, class ng hide is written. Okay, right? And that is what like Angular has already declared like for ng hide display will be none. Correct? Use it. This is how coming from the Angular cases. Fine, right? So basically, it gave you a programmatic way of doing it. You can also do it. You can also do this CSS part, but AngularJS makes your life easy, right? You just like change one way to get what you want, and then ng switch.
You can use it for showing something and then hide something, but here we're getting that it's selected, not selected, the text we are getting. Okay, you can use it for showing something.
Yeah,
make it, then it will vanish suddenly or result.
Yeah.
Whenever you're clicking on the button and you show, it will vanish like that.
Yeah. Right? Okay.
So if there is some text, if you want to hide it, whenever user will click on this button, so you want to hide it, and then you want to show it again using ng show else. So to ng hide also, if you use true and false value, if it is true, then it will hide. It is false, then it will show. Then in ng show, if you make it false, then it will not show the data which is there. You may do. So I wanted, yeah.
So the text is nothing you are
That's
giving
two different divs. Then you put the
two divs, right? One not
select not adding this and message you can put.
basically because there is no transition. You have to figure out. But thinking is the same thing.
Need to so if you comment this line, then it will
Correct. And both showing this changing the text. So ng switch similarly first let's just quickly we'll just see it. So I have a select You guys can relax.
Go back to sleep.
Yeah, so basically, you can see like ng if we have like two p elements here. You are disturbing. I mean, you can't do this.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Continue, please continue. He was looking at his own picture. That's why I told him. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So if you see, only like one of the p tags is getting rendered. Similarly, if I go to ng show, it also does the same thing. But you will see both the p tags. The only thing is the one that is hidden will have a class ng hide. And then you can see like we have a CSS class for ng hide display is none. If I remove it, so that's fine, right?
Yeah.
ng switch is simple, like we have a switch which can have multiple values, and based on what is the value, you can render a specific element. So I'll just show you in the code. Okay. I'll show you the ng show, ng if also, just let me know. So ng if code is this. We have a ng if, this is the flag, and based on that one item is either visible or hidden. Same with ng show, and for selection you have a ng switch on which particular scope element, and then whichever it matches, it will just display that. It's like a normal switch case which you guys might be aware of. So we'll just go to the animation one. So animation, we just showed like, we have a, so this is the effect we are seeing, and we'll just go to the code and figure out how it is happening. So basically we have a variable which holds the CSS class, and when we click on set, then we set that class into the variable, and when we clear that, and then we are assigning that variable to one of the span. Now we'll go to the CSS. So here we have the CSS classes color is red, font size is 3 em, and the normal state is like 1 em, and color is black. So basically we have CSS add class and CSS remove class. So basically Angular, when it adds a class, it will add this class to the element, right? Anyway, when it removes, so we are adding transition to both the classes. And the transition is what? All means like all the properties like color and font, these are two properties we are changing here. So both these will animate. It will go linear. There are like other options also. It will how fast and how slow is that will depend. And 1.5 is the time duration in which it will animate. Like if I can increase it to, let's say, just to see the effect, will make it 4.
Change the color.
So basically it took some time. So you can figure out that the CSS changes is working and its effect you can see it, right? So this is a simple example. We can do animation in like anything, like we'll see animation in the ng repeat example. So first I'll show you the one ng repeat which doesn't have animation. If I do some filtering, you can see like it changes instantly. So the user experience might not be that good. some people might want it to be a little slow, and so you can add animation to it. If I change something here, you see the transition is happening, but it's right. We'll just see the CSS little bit here. So this is for the container. We have ordered this container is the entire table container. Animate repeat. Also, we'll see the yeah. So for the table, we have this container class, and for ng repeat, each of the items will repeat, and we have a class. Okay, and last for no data also we have animated. So this is the only class that we have defined. So these are the classes which we use it to define the initial state. So this is the container, and then the animate repeat. This is what we do. And similarly, now this ngMove class is added when elements is reordered. Like let's say second element is filtered out because of the search, so it moves. So this class will be added to that. ng-enter when a new item is added. Let's say there's a filtered item and you remove the filter, so that item gets added to the DOM. Then this class is added. Leaving is like when something is removed, so this. So in all of the three we added transition, which we want it to be like 0.75 seconds, depending on how it feels, you can change it. Same way as the previous example, you can do it, and there is transform also where things can go circle or those things it can do. So basically, we are coming to the end of this session. It's already 4:34. Sorry, guys. Great help. So, any questions or anything? Yeah.
I think that controller we have used after getting data from the service. In success method, we are using that timeout.
Yeah.
So why we using timeout? Because it's this one.
We can remove it. I just wanted to give some delay. That's why. It's not required. So one thing for animation, one thing I forgot. So yeah. So you initialize your module here, right? And then the dependency like ng animate module, you have to add it as a dependency. Otherwise, animation will not work. This is the only thing you need to do. Yeah. So I think we are done. So any more questions? Did this session help? Nikita, you already know everything, right? Why are you saying this? So from the last time, I think Devinder gave something, told something to do. Delete from
Correctly computed that.
Yes.
I have completed that, but I have a question here.
Yeah.
So in controller we are keeping one data array.
Yeah.
Three employee data.
Yeah.
So whenever deleting or adding something, immediately it's reflecting on the page. But when we refresh the page, so its data is omitting at the right moment because that is stored, it's not storing anywhere. It's only in controller. So I wanted to store it in local storage. Because I'm not. So I tried that on and failed that. So here, delete I have done. So tell me the technique to storage.
So for local storage also, like there will be a service for that. Yeah, so you need to use $local storage, right?
Yeah.
So there you can connect to the local storage, and in Chrome, resources, right? So if you add something to local storage, you can just come here and see like what is getting added. Like in program, like you added something to local storage, right? Is booking, and when you refresh, that should still be there. Fine, then only it will work, right? So you go to see like.
I use JavaScript, not that any services and all.
No.
Simple JavaScript I use local storage dot get item or set item.
Yes. Yeah, this is dollar local storage, right? So you can just Google it and just see the usage.
Dollar local storage.
It's all the same. Everything is the same. So basically, you can follow these examples, right? Same way, like so all the script also is here only. What is doing? Controller is injected on local storage.
Local storage is injected.
Yeah, and then local storage dot dollar default. Experience by two. And then changing it, storage value is changing. Same thing you can follow. You find.
I am able to store it.
Okay.
So I am fetching the data. So I am fetching that also because I can print it on console.
So next time, what you're doing? Next time, first you should check your local storage. If you're getting the value from local storage, then you should not initialize your scope variable, right?
The thing is that after getting the data from local storage, I need to keep it in some object or array inside scope.
Right.
So after that, that scope I can repeat in.
So the controller logic will start from checking the local storage. If there is some value in local storage, you can value storage in the scope of it.
So I think that the logic to return the data from local storage to the view.
So please have that assignment ready. Devendra will create a repository and he will ask you to upload anytime. Okay. There will, just for your information, there will be final marks for everybody, I think. Okay. So try to do it as good as possible.
So I think next session is the hands-on session.
Yeah.
Devinder will again be not there. So what you can do is, whatever we did today, na, just try to like play with it. Just do things here and there and try to understand. So we'll using these things, whatever we have done till now, we'll try to create something. But you should be like thorough with little bit with the concepts. Then everybody can do it.
Same kind of application.
Yeah, I mean anything else is fine.
Let's cover all the topic. Whatever.
Just you can think of like a to-do list. You can add items, you can remove items, and done state you can change those things. You can do.
Put your own creativity.
You need to create a new repo or in existing repo we can run the code.
Existing repo also you can just create a branch maybe. Yeah, you can create a branch.
Don't commit the code. Did he told to commit the code?
No.
In
No, you can commit it, no problem. Just create a separate branch and just put whatever you want to put it there. You can just create the branch with your name so that it will be easier also. Fine, right? So anything else? We'll close. So I think somebody does somebody track attendance or anything.
Here, fill the data.
In the meeting.
So if you need something you have checked.
Sashi, I think we can complete the session.
Yeah.
Any questions from their side?
No, no, Amit.
I don't know if they might ask like who was. Yeah, Shishir, can you just tell us, which who are the people who attended? Just drop me a mail with that.
Sure.
Okay then, thanks everyone. I'm just closing the GoToMeeting now.
Thank you.
Just pass it to Amal.